Hey guys, I am Foxtrot Delta and welcome back to some more Space Engineers. I actually did plan to record more in the last week, and actually I did have a video recorded last week, but it just felt sloppy, and I was not going to waste the time editing it, trying to make it good. So this time I think I'm going to create this video in a more logical, straightforward way with less cuts and mistakes in between, so hopefully everything that I say will make some sort of sense, at least compared to the way the other video was. But anyway, welcome back to Space Engineers. It's been a while since I've made a video, and especially a while since I made a video from Space Engineers. I believe the last video I released was Star Trek Legacy, and that is what my channel mostly focuses on, but I do love Space Engineers as well, and I do plan to at least try to make the content sort of even. Half Star Trek Legacy, half Space Engineers. Some of you won't like that, some of you will. I like it. So, Space Engineers, what am I doing standing on top of this platform made of reactors and LCDs? Well, I have been working on another project in Space Engineers. Actually, I finished working on it quite a while ago. I just never made a video on it, and that's what I was trying to make a video on before. But what have I done? Well, I have made a ship-to-ship communications system. I'm probably not the first person to do it. I haven't done any research into anyone else who's done it, so maybe there are 16 of these things already on the Steam Workshop, but it's the first time I've ever done it. So, what is this thing made out of? So we have, if I change the time to a day so you guys can actually see things, there we go. So we have a programmable block over here. We have a couple LCDs, a few batteries, and a laser antenna pointed that way. Now, what is that way out there? That's the alien planet way out there. Now, what do you think is on the alien planet, just sitting waiting for something to be sent to it? Another one of these. So we have another communications platform set up on the alien planet with another laser antenna. So how does this work? Well, I know in the game you have the in-game chat. You can just hit enter and say hello. But I wanted something that was strictly ship-to-ship, something just kind of cool and secure. So I thought, what if I made something where you type on an LCD and it appears on another LCD somewhere else? So let's try that out. I got it to work. So this is a message from Earth. That's not how you spell Earth. There we go, Earth. Alright, not only does it appear on the LCD you typed it, it appears on all other LCDs in the communications group of LCDs on the ship or station, and it should appear on the alien planet. This is a message from Earth on both LCDs as well. And it says it is from Earth. That is the call sign for this terminal. The default call sign is just called user, but you can change that. And how do you do things like change your call sign and stuff like that? Well, if we do cmd_help, there we go. We have the help readout showing on all of the terminals, but not on these terminals. So it's only the commands in this program are only a local thing. So, communications help. Type your messages on one line only. That's how this works. Only one line. You can make the line as long as you want. You can't necessarily read it all on the same LCD display, but if you hit F on the display, you can read all of the text on one line, and a scroll bar will show up if it goes off the page here, so you can scroll to the end of the message. So one line only. Do not hit enter afterwards. Don't do it. Type cmd_help to access this help screen. Type cmd_clear to clear message history and display. Type freq_ whatever you want to change your communications frequency. Type freq_default to revert to the default comms frequency. And type call sign for custom call sign. And then it shows the last thing we typed in the LCD right here. So if I type call_new name, so now this says that a command has been input called call new name. Again, it does not show up here, but if I send a new message, alright, on the alien planet, new name said new message. And if I teleport over the alien planet... Ouch. And then send a reply. This is a reply. It has been sent. Go back to Earth, way over there. It's kind of tedious going, 6,000 kilometers or whatever it is between the alien planet and Earth. But I wanted to demonstrate the effectiveness of this system, even at range. The only problem is power. Laser antennas take a lot of power. I tried to implement this in a survival server, and I figured out that I'd need 40-ish large reactors just to send a message to the place I wanted it to go. So, but then again, it was many thousands of kilometers away. Okay, this is a reply from the alien planet. So what were some of these other commands I showed you? So cmd_help. So we also have frequency. And so what is the frequency? So every time you send a message in Space Engineers using programmable blocks, it can receive those messages with certain, and it looks for certain tags. So the tag is just an identifying marker for that message. So, for instance, my guided missiles I've shown you before, their transmission frequency uses the tag, I think, just guidance. So anything sent with the guidance tag will be caught by that missile and used to adjust its course. Now, that being said, I could send a message from one of these screens and mess up the guidance system on the missiles. But it wouldn't do that much damage because it only sends the message once from here versus with the guided missiles, it's receiving data continuously from the fighter. So it would be very difficult to seriously mess it up. Okay, so how does this work again? So we have the tag and we have the call sign, and those are stored on the communications array, which is just the antenna, whichever antenna you have. So if I go to the custom data, we have comms and then new name. So this is our current frequency or our tag. So when a programmable block receives a message, it looks for a certain tag. If the tag it's looking for matches the tag on the message, it'll accept the message and you can use it. And our call sign is new name. Now, if I do FREQ_XYZ, so our new frequency with the tag XYZ, and then send a message on a new frequency. Look over here, not over here. If we go over there, I'll probably spend most of my time on Earth, just for the sake of not having to go across the entire map to demonstrate it. Come on. There it is. Nothing. We have no message on the new frequency because it was sent from a different frequency than this one's set up for. This one is set up for the comms frequency still. And actually, you know what? I will move my character over here. And I will do FREQ_... I don't remember what the frequency was. Hold on, was it just... Oh, we didn't know. It was XYZ. Okay, I don't know why I got confused there. Okay, so now we are on the same frequency, and now when we send a message back to Earth... So let's zoom our spectator mode back to Earth. We should see that our displays will say message sent from the alien communications terminal. That's through the surface of the planet, not exactly the type of journey I wanted to commit to. Alright, alien sent a message on the new frequency XYZ. Now I've noticed sometimes if you send a bunch of messages, I've at least noticed this with radio antennae, not so much laser antennae, but with radio antenna, when you send a message, a bunch of them, on a different frequency than the receiver, and then you change the receiver to the new frequency, sometimes the messages will then show up, and that's because sometimes the programmable blocks still receive the messages, but they don't actually use them unless the tag matches. And I did some research. I think they can store up to 25 messages in their receiver, but not use them. They're added to a queue of messages. Sometimes it stores them, sometimes it doesn't. I haven't quite figured out why or how that works exactly yet. But right now, we didn't get the old message we sent, we just got the new one. Alright, so that is how you change the frequency and call sign. Anything else? So, also, you guys saw this before. If I do cmd_help, So you can see our entire screen here is full of text. Then if I send another message, it clears the screen and just puts it on the very first line. So that's set up, it's not dynamically set up, so depending on what font size you're using, it'll still clear after the same number of lines are used. In this case, I think I have 19 lines of text that can be used on an LCD before it resets the LCD. And like I said, that's no matter what font size you use. But I set it that way because that's the default font size. I think is what, 1.0. And if I go here, yeah, it's set to 1.0. So at 1.0, it will fill 19 lines. And then after the next message is either sent or received, it will clear everything on the screen and put it on the very first line. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to expand the functionality so it'll change the rate at which it refreshes the screen, or scrolls down, if you will, depending on the font sizes. It's not that critical. It's not that critical. But if we go into the programmable blocks custom data, you can see all of our message history. Everything we've sent or received or typed in is here. So Earth sent, this is a message from Earth. Then its call sign was sent to new name. So new name sent new message. Then I typed this as a reply. I typed in this command. I typed in the message saying message. I typed in this command. Then I typed message again. It is all stored here in the comms computer's custom data. We go down here. We type cmd_clear. Look at this. Nothing. It is empty. We go back here. All of your message history is gone. So all of your covert, clandestine, secretive, plotting, scheming messages between you and your faction members or some person that you're corresponding with, they are all gone once you type in that command on this system. However, if we go back to Earth, everything's still here. If you go to the programmable block, the custom data will still be full with all the messages. The LCDs still have all the messages that were sent and received. And yeah, so that is how this entire system works. That is my communications system for space engineers. It's not the best. You can only type on one line. You can't send whole paragraphs unless they're on one line, but that's not really a paragraph. It's just a huge string. You can do that. And you can go into, so if I typed in just a really, really, really long thing and then sent it. Okay, it was sent. Take our player over here. Now you can't read the whole thing, it goes off the screen, but you can go in here and scroll, as I said before, and then read it. And then type your reply, however long you want it to be, and it's business as usual. So let's see how this works with ships. We've seen it work with lasers on solid static grids on different planets. We also have a ship set up with the system already enabled. And it has a receiver next to it, or another small communications transmission station next to it that we can use. Okay, there is the ship. It's not named ship, it's actually named Artemis. But we are not close enough to see the name. There it is, USS Artemis. It is an escort vessel. Not really been used in combat yet. No jump drive, just weapons. It's meant to be dropped into a fight from some carrier or some other jump sled type of module attached to it and escort larger ships. So here we have our comms computer. The comms array is down here. Now these names are important. I'll show that to you very soon, how the names play a role in the program. If we go inside, I'm sure you guys want to see the interior. The weapons are all modded. And the shield mod is enabled as well. The thrusters are modded. Everything is modded. I made a vanilla version of this also. It's not nearly as impressive or fast. Okay, so we're running a few scripts in here. Those of you who have seen this type of setup with the lights before, these aren't real lights. These are fake real lights down here and up there. Those are just reference points for the ship's navigation system, which is right there. We have the flight data, we have our heading, our elevation, our horizontal degree angle, our GPS, and but on the left is our communication screen. So if we go to communications display, here it is, edit text, message, let's use big words, so transmission. from Artemis. Should show up on that one right there. Let's see if I can actually see it from the bridge. You know, it's not worth crashing into it. Let's just take a look at it with the free cam. Alright, yep, transmission from Artemis. If I jump out and jump over here and fall to my eventual death in the cold vacuum of space, and then type reply. This is a generic reply message, and we go back in here. Nope, not in there. That's not a door, that's a window. Alright, so user said reply. So that is the default call sign I mentioned before, is just user. And so that's how it works on ships. It has a range of whatever the antenna range is set to. So if it's set to 50 kilometers, it'll transmit 50 kilometers. If it's set to 10 kilometers or 2 kilometers, it'll transmit 10 kilometers or 2 kilometers. I haven't figured out yet what I want to put on this LCD. These are transparent LCDs, by the way, from the second decorative DLC pack, I think, maybe. They're really convenient, though. They're just like Windows, except, well, I mean, obviously they're just like Windows. They're transparent. They're just really neat, because you don't have to block your view to put something on a screen. Because if I use default LCD panels, I wouldn't be able to see outside, and that's no fun. Alright, so that works. I think I just pressed the button to blow it up. Did I blow myself up too? No, I just blasted it in half. And now it is gone. Those are big guns. Big guns. Come on, do it again. There they go. Yeah, very cool mod, by the way. It's the Mexpex something model. I have a link to it, though, in the description. You guys can check it out for yourself. Very nice weapons. So how does this work? What is the actual programming behind this script? And this is where things may get boring, so if you get bored easily, if you're not bored already, then you may want to exit, because there is no action in this video. There is zero action, in fact. But there is programming action, or at least programming reading action. So let's go to this one. This is the wrong one. That's not the right one. This is the correct one. So this is called Artemis Comms Computer. This is where all the magic happens, right here. So, written by me. It was last updated, actually, more recently than this. I just haven't put in the actual date. But it was originally mostly completed around the end of February. So, we have different... this is just a reminder to let people know which commands are used when running it. It updates every 10 ticks. Okay, so we need Artemis Comms displays in a group. You need the Artemis Comms computer with the name Artemis Comms computer. You also need Artemis Comms array named Artemis Comms array. Now, in the default version of this script, the one running on, if I delete this, so it makes a little more sense to people. If I delete this and go to the, I just do communications system, the default version of this, you don't have to name it Artemis anything. You go here. And as long as your grids are separate, it doesn't matter what the blocks are called. You can have like 2 or 3 of these, just copied and pasted, all talking to each other. It won't make a difference. It's if they're attached in the same grid, you want to make sure that the things are named different. So here, this is just called Comms Computer, and as long as it's a separate ship from anything else using the script, that ship can also just be called, or can also just have a block called Comms Computer. So let's go to the actual regular script version. So in this case, everything is just called... Well, in this case, it's just called Comms Displays, so no identifier before it. We need a block called Comms Computer and Comms Array for the antenna. Okay, so if this piece of code is kind of extraneous, it's not necessary. So if programmable block is functional, or is not functional, to throw an exception, that's not needed, because if the programmable block's not functional, it won't be running anyway. So I don't need this part. But I also have, so if the antenna has been destroyed, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so if the antenna is destroyed, it will actually close the program. But that's not the cool part. So first of all, it checks to see if the antenna has anything in its custom data. So if it has, a call sign or tag. So if it is equal to nothing, it'll put in a default tag, a colon, and a call sign, and those are found up here where we define them as call sign user tag comms, or tag or frequency. They're synonymous in this case. If we go down here, so if it is not equal to nothing, it will split the string and the custom data using the colon and then attach, or assign, the tag to the tag and the call sign to the call sign. Alrighty, so we keep on moving down. It looks at the programmable block's custom data. It breaks it apart into pieces if it can. And then it looks at the terminals or LCD screens in the group for the LCDs, so the comms displays. So, and then it gets all the text in a string. So I'm not going to explain every little thing inside this code. It's a pretty decently long program. I'm just going to give you the basics on how it works. So the really short long story, or long short story, is it looks at all of the LCDs on the ship, okay? If it has something on it, it will then, depending on whether or not the programmable block has anything stored in it, so if you've sent messages or not, if there are no messages in the message history, it will immediately transmit whatever's on an LCD. Because that means that you typed something in, you were trying to transmit something. So automatically it'll just send it. However, if there is already something in the programmable block, it'll check to see what the last thing was sent, and like the last thing on the screen currently. So it basically sees if the screen has changed since the last time you used it. If it has not changed, it will not send whatever's currently on the screen on the last line. If something has changed, then it will take that new message and transmit it. And it actually, you can send repeat messages, because the way this thing works is the last thing stored actually is a blank line. After you send each message, it adds a blank area, an area of no space after your message, and that's what it checks. So if the last thing sent in the programmable block is blank space, and the thing currently on the LCD after the last thing you typed is blank space, it will not transmit stuff. But if all of a sudden, hey, there's a word here, and oh, the programmable block has only blank space in it for that line, oh, that has to be a new message, so it'll send it. That's pretty much how it works. And that took a lot of trial and error to get working. I didn't really know how I was going to get that to function. I miraculously figured it out eventually. And it works very well. Going down here, so in this case, we have all the cases where you have the commands, so frequency, call sign, clear, help. It won't transmit stuff in that case. It'll just display things to the LCDs to help you. So in this case, it'll display the help screen. And for the case of clear and frequency and call sign, you've already seen what that does. It either changes the frequency call sign or it clears the history, but it does not send anything when you type that in. Keep on going down to the receiver. So if the receiver has a pending message, it checks to see, first of all, if the tag matches up here. So your receiver is listening for a certain tag. If it has a message with that tag, it will output it to the screen and save it on the custom data of the programmable block, the comms computer. And then down here, it checks each line on the LCDs, or on every LCD, I should say. And if they are full, it will clear them and put whatever was last on the LCD. So whatever the newest message or newest received message was, it'll put that on the very first line. So this is how it scrolls. And that is more or less the entire program. We have functions down here for the help, for clearing the terminals, for changing the frequency and call sign. But I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty details behind how all that works, because I'm sure there are those of you who decided to stick around and decided you are bored out of your minds, and that's okay. I will be putting the blueprint up for this grid. Let's just say, no, I don't know what I changed, but I don't want to change it. I will put the blueprint for this grid up on the workshop. I may try to submit the script also on the workshop just by itself, so you guys can implement it in your ships, or you can copy it from this grid once you get it from the workshop, and then put it into your ships. So like I said, the only thing you have to watch out for is don't hit enter after sending a message. They're only on one line only. If you are docking with another ship or another station that's also running this script, make sure that your components here and in the script are named different things. So in the case of the Artemis over there, if it was docked to a station using this version of the script, you would have to go change the names for these main components. So comms computer, we have to designate it for that ship. So in my case over there on the Artemis, I said Artemis comms computer, I said Artemis comms array, I said Artemis comms displays. Then you have to go into your edit here and change the name in the script as well to make sure it actually finds it. So that is my communication script in Space Engineers. I hope that I did not bore you guys too much and I made some kind of sense talking about all that. It is somewhat complex. It's not the most complex thing I've ever worked on, but it's the most difficulty I had in getting a script to work. I spent many hours struggling with my own stupidity and wondering why things weren't working, and eventually I got it to function smoothly, and I am darn proud of it. So if you guys enjoyed this video of Space Engineers, well then please be sure to leave it a like, and if you are not subscribed and you want to see more, well then please subscribe, because I do plan to record more Space Engineers in the future. Let's go back to the Artemis Escort. Really cool ship also. I've never made a ship with this kind of design before, and I think it just looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's really cool. If for whatever reason you guys did not enjoy the video, I do apologize for that, and I ask that you leave a comment in the comments section and let me know what it is that I need to do to improve the next videos that I produce, so that hopefully you guys will find some entertainment when you watch them. And yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about this video, and Space Engineers took quite a while to make the communication system, but in the end, I think it worked out really well. You can send lots of messages back and forth simultaneously between different ships on different frequencies. You can have people doing all kinds of separate conversations at the same time, all within a few kilometer radius, or you can have a giant group chat. It's very cool stuff. So as always, I am Foxtrot Delta. I hope that you guys are all having a wonderful day and also staying healthy, because there's that coronavirus thing happening. So please do your best, stay healthy, wash your hands, remain safe, and I will see you next time.